So the first step of the four-step plan is the victory circle.
Right.
And inside of that, you narrow down to those key, in your case, indicators, right? Second step are the tensions, and you want to get at cause. Third step is the workshop method, which is brainstorming all of the actions. The fourth step I haven't shown you yet, which is actually then organizing the actions and strategies on a timeline. Okay? So the first thing about four-step is a small enough chunk size. Otherwise, it won't work. If it's so big, the goals are so big, and there's so many moving parts, then you would not use this process. So the first step of this four-step is to do what's called a victory circle. And the purpose of it are to get the outcomes. Alignment around the outcomes so that people aren't talking about 18 different things. By the end of June, how would you know you were successful with this project? What would you see? What would you hear? What would exist by the end of June? It's an evidence question. Does that make sense?
I would see garden coordinators throughout the county creating partnerships with folks in their community to support the gardens in their particular schools.
You actually want very specific evidence. Now, what you would do at this step, all of you, you first brainstorm. This group will brainstorm. You don't agree on any of them. You just say, and what would you see? And what would you say? And so you just fill this circle with these comments, possible comments of evidences. You just circle those few, 2, 3, 4, 1, not the 20 that might come up here, that you all say, that's worth shooting for. Because it totally influences the plan. What you're saying is, those are our outcomes for this plan by the end of the summer. Step 1, got it? Those are your outcomes. So from an Enneagram standpoint, we're starting at intention. Then you ask the question around the 2 or 3 or 4 that you circled. What actually might be getting in the way, would get in our way, or could get in our way, whether they're challenges, paradox, problems, dilemmas, belief systems, any of those different ways of talking about the tension on the Enneagram, the actual things that could bite us. You'd always ask, is there something deeper? Is that a symptom or a cause? That's what you'd be doing as the facilitator. Because you always want to get at the root cause. In here, you just have to rely on your facilitation skills. Is that really the cause? What's underneath that? So you don't want to, people might hit it right off, but may not. So you ask, okay?
Trying to get to the cause?
The real cause, not the symptom. The third step is, the facilitator would ask each person individually, because you're small groups, to individually brainstorm, like we did with the workshop method, what steps would you take to break the causes, the tensions, actually breaks that tension and gets us to those few goals we talked about. Every step has to do those two things. You would brainstorm what you're individually doing, posting all the ideas, clarifying, remember, grouping, naming, and then the fourth step is you'll actually sequence the steps that you want to take in a timeline, right on the same sticky board.
We'll have a plan.
You'll have a completed plan with names on it, of who's doing what, when, and where, all that. It'll be done.
Everybody take a stack. Take a stack. How to get involved.
So more when we know
Maybe
what's
March,
happening.
maybe March?
Yeah.
Would you want those community,
When is it you want it all?
wouldn't we want the, if there's some way that they can address it? Because you bring it to them now, and they may go, you know what? $20,000 just ended up in this pot.